Okay, we're starting the live stream.
We could take that as being a bit of a...
Okay, we've started.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to start the meeting. If you just take your seat, please, Councillor Coles. Thank you. Thank you. Kia ora, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Service Delivery Committee meeting of the 17th of September. This will be the last meeting for the Service Delivery Committee for this triennium. And on that note, I note that Hinarangi, this is going to be your last meeting. So I've invited you to start with the karakia. We might have a few words at the end too.
Atamari kia tātou. Tuatahi me tuku mihi atu ki tō tātou ariki nui a koini ngā waihono i te pō, i tōna koroneihana tuatahi i te wiki kua pahure ake. A whakahonere hoki ki te whare kāhui āriki whānui tonu, rire hau pai marire. A tuku mihi atu kia tātou katoa kua pai nei tēnei rā ki raro i te tuanui o tō tata nei whare. Mō tō tātou Huinga Services Committee whakamutunga o tēnei wahanga. Nō reira, tēnei te mihi atu kia tātou katoa, ma te atua tātou e manaki, e te aki pai marire. Ka pai. Tu taua mai i runga, tu taua mai i raro, tu taua mai i roto, tu taua mai i waho. Kia taua i te Māori tū, te Māori ora, mo te kingitanga, mo te ao katoa, haumi e hui e tai ki e. Morena kia tātou.
Morena, thank you, Hinarangi. That was lovely. So now we're moving through our agenda, and the first item is apologies. So do we have? I've got an apology from Andrew Brown. Any others? Looks like everyone has said. So you're going to move. Thank you, Philip. And a seconder, Lou Brown. Thank you. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Are there any disclosures of members' interests? Oh, yes. Yes, Susan.
Morena, Madam Chair, just clearing a conflict of interest in respect of the item at 7, Sport Waikato, not particularly contentious. I'm trustee, obviously, but I noticed that the report is just an update. I thought the abundance of a caution, I would just declare that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And Mike?
And more acknowledgement through the chair in the same item. Cambridge Primary School is mentioned. I don't see as a conflict, but I just want to just acknowledge it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, yes, Lou Brown. Yes. Oh.
My one is just simply with the lease with the stadium and the Te Amiru Sports
okay. There's a connection there.
Involvement in that issue.
So will you just not participate in that item?
Yeah, I can do, although, as I say, there's just something I thought I'd like to say to everyone, that was all.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Next item is late items. Do we have any late items? We don't. No, cool. Okay, so we're going to confirm the order of the meeting. Roger's going to move, and a seconder, please, to confirm the order of the meeting. Philip, thank you. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you. And then we're moving on to the confirmation of the minutes of our previous meeting. Now, those have been pre-circulated, and I'm happy to move from the chair. Is someone that would like to second that? Dale Marie Morgan. Thank you. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you. And now on to our first business item, which is the Waipa Community Facilities Trust 6 monthly update. And Brad Wood's coming to the hot seat, along with Shane Walsh and Matt Horn from the Trust. Welcome, gentlemen. Always good to see you. Brad, are you going to open with the introduction? Thank you. Over to you then.
Ngā mihi o te tātou. Once again, I introduce Shane Walsh, Chair of Waipa Community Facilities Trust, and Matt Horn, the CEO of the Trust, who operate the Pere Aquatic Centre and Te Amiru Event Centre on our behalf. As part of their service agreement, today they'll be sharing their end-of-year data, which is some great highlights again, namely the increase in patronage across both facilities and an increase in occupancy at the stadium from 37.96% to 61.12%. But without further ado, I will hand over to Shane and Matt to take you through their presentation, which has been pre-circulated via Diligent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for having us. Thanks to Brad. He's pretty much said it all. We can go now. So. All right. Yeah, this is our annual report for 24-25. Have to say that it's been a pretty good year for us and for the Waipa community. Very good numbers through, good return. And if you've read the last page on the thing, we've actually dropped most of the costs to run and operate the centre. for our ratepayers, so we're pretty proud of that. So we're just going to speak on the non-financial and the financial high level. I understand everyone got more of a detailed report earlier prior. So we had 464,000 visitors or users through the centres, both centres, and that's up 63,000 or 16% on last year. So I'm pretty proud of that overall. That equates to about a month and a half's worth of full patronage in over a 12-month period, so pretty good for that. The event centre, it's gone from 238,000 visitors to 275. So it's about a 30,000 increase and 15.5%. Perry Aquatic Centre, up again to, sorry, we're still talking about aquatics. So the aquatic side of the pools, not just the stadium and the gym, that's gone up about another 8,000 or 6% on that side. So working hard on that to do pretty well. And then also includes with our maintenance periods and closures and things like that.
Really briefly, what the Perry Pool, what year did it open?
2021.
So, right, so you got 21, 22 there, right, okay.
There's a start for COVID and we opened up in May in the first financial year. So there was like a month and a bit of the first reopening. And then the data starting to increase from
Well
there.
done, awesome.
So the Perry, gone ahead of myself. Perry Aquatic Centre from 162,000 last year to 188, almost 189. 26 and a bit, 16.3% increase in the users.
Yeah.
And I think that's even better than the TA side because it's only aquatics over that side. They've got no other real services. So obviously people are recognising it and travelling through there. I do want to highlight that Waterworld did close for a little bit for a big maintenance and we might have stolen a few of their patronage and I think they might have stayed, to be honest, but just joking to the Sport Waikato over there. And then you can see the visitors tracking over there and obviously the dip in the red is our maintenance period in June, why it dropped at the event centre with the aquatics. Stadium, another area that we're pretty proud of. From 45,000 people to almost 60,000. That's a 31% increase over last year. Our events, additional to our normal bookings of mini ball and netball, basketball, badminton, they've gone from 20 events to 33. So another 13 significant events, and we're getting different events that we not normally had, like powerlifting, like some other things that we don't normally have. So trying to be a different area in the market. It's hard to compete with the bigger, Mystery Creek and Claudelands and things like that, and the lack of support like accommodation, and that's pretty tough for us to try and target other things. But we're still pretty proud of the big jump there.
Matt, could I just ask you a point there about the accommodation? So have you done an analysis of what, I suppose, number of beds, like for a hotel or a larger motel unit or something, that could be viable if you had a certain level of events during the year, whether it's, I'm not, like you've said your occupancy is about 60% or something, but have you worked out that if you had events at the stadium, say for 2/3 of the weekends of a year, that it could sustain, investment in accommodation? Have you done anything like that?
And we haven't done a detailed report, but we did present about a year ago our long 30-year vision where we had extensions to the stadium, bringing the squash courts across from the other side, and in the other spare land, putting like an IBIS type scenario there, but we haven't actually done the detailed report. Over the next 6 months, we'll be working on a communication strategy and marketing plan. So we may engage someone to actually investigate and look into that side. But at this stage, it's just more of a vision and things that we're doing. So we're trying to control what we can at the moment and then look more strategically a little bit long further.
Well, I totally agree with your approach. Like what you're doing is you're building your business, and I mean, it's a fantastic story that you're telling, and then that in itself might attract some investment because you've done that groundwork. Cool. Oh, I've got a question from councillor Stolwick.
Yeah, thank you, Matt and Shane. Just regarding the stadium, so I can see that most of the events that you've got there are sort of non-profit organisations, and you know funding is always difficult. The recent Te Awamutu Fire Brigade fundraising dinner was just an incredible event for Te Awamutu. Lots of us here were there, and one of the things I know that they sort of struggled with was trying to tables and chairs and just trying to find funding for a lot of the things that they would need to hire, because of course you can't be expected to provide 50 tables and 500 chairs. So I'm just wondering if as a council and other council facilities, whether there's more of a sharing kind of process that we could explore. So for example, I know that in the end, they managed to get quite a few chairs from the Cambridge Town Hall. That was great. Again, saved them an incredible amount, and more money, of course, could stay in the community. So I'm wondering if through council staff we could explore that option, just like a sharing process for some of the sort of easy to move, you know, furniture that could be, you know, that could be really advantageous to more bookings, hopefully for you.
Yeah, take that on board from Madam Chair. We have had some help from the TA College at times with their chairs. We do hold some stock, but we are limited in our storage space. So generally when we have an open country or the volunteer fire brigade and stuff, and it needs a lot of chairs, unfortunately it's got to that stage where they may have to hire tables and things like that. Open country might be a bit easier more funding to do that, but you know, the non-profitable type groups might be able to do that as well.
Okay, yes. All right, and a question from Dale Marie. Yeah.
I'm just going to piggyback on Councillor Stolwick. Relationships with iwi would be a really good place as well. I know that out at Parawera, we sit 400 people at a pokai. All our tables are brand new. All our chairs are brand new. They all match. They're pretty hard to break. If you do break them, we do invoice you. But you know, you create great relationships with us, and we can do deals. So
Thank you very much. That's a great point you make. Now I've got a question also from Lou Brown.
You thank you through, Madam Chair. Matt, thanks very much for a great report, but just quickly, Anzac Day, we actually book every year in case of a wet, and we would need chairs as well, because we're talking a significant amount of people that would be there, as you say, like Anzac Day at the moment. We're getting between 800 and 1,000 people. So, you know, it is growing, and yeah, it's just something to work on.
Yeah. Through Madam Chair, for that type of event, being an ex-serviceman and myself, we'd pull the grandstand would come out, and then the minimal numbers of chairs, you know, 50 or 60 chairs that we do have would be brought out, and the carpet would be laid down. We've been, and I'm probably going to use myself, we've been very, very fortunate that the civic events normally been dry enough for them to hold it, and we haven't had to hold it inside, but we're always on standby for that. And because I treasure that day as well. We used to open up half a day. We close for the whole day because of honouring our fallen soldiers and things like that.
That's really appreciated. Thank you.
So Club Waipa, this has kind of been our jewel in the crown, to be honest. We've gone from, well, it's gone up 20% in the patronage. Our membership has grown to over 1,400. And if you think how small Te Awamutu is with, and the number of gyms, we're quite proud of that achievement.
I'm not sure if that's the right slide.
Oh, sorry, I've
here,
gone too
but
far.
Yeah, that's it.
My glasses
Yeah,
are full
one,
close
yes.
up, it's fuzzy in there, so getting old.
Yeah.
So I apologise for that. And the group fitness classes are around the same, they're still well attended. We've got record numbers, and the new cafe that's just opened yesterday is appreciating it, the people that are coming through, so we're proud of that as well.
That's an amazing story of growth. Are you able to identify what you think might be your point of difference to the other gyms?
Yeah, I think Perry Aquatic Centre coming on board, it's another wing to our bow, or
yeah.
additional to the bow,
Mm.
but also having the sauna, the spa and the pools is our point of difference. So
Right.
when we do the survey, we get people, why aren't you 24 hours? Why aren't you 24 hours?
Mm.
Operationally, that's very difficult with pools, and, you know, we don't turn up and someone's floating. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We'd rather have the code brown than somebody, to be honest, but you know, we know that that's already serviced within the community on other facilities of 24-hour gyms. So our point of difference is you do get pools, you do get sauna, you do get spas. We're currently investigating a wellness centre and expansion. So watch the space. Hopefully something comes up, and that will be, you know, another additional service that will interlink with everything, and hopefully it'll get more people through as well.
Thank you. Now I've got a question from Lou Brown.
Not
again.
actually a question, just a simple statement, Matt. Your equipment is one of the greatest things. You've got modern equipment. Most of the other gyms, the equipment deteriorates over time.
Yeah.
Your equipment is kept in good order and is actually very, operational at all times. So I think that's a very big plus as well. So, having been a regular gym attendant, that is one of the key points you can sell.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So we do try and replace the gear on a lease. So our cardio gear is leased, but all the strength gear we own. So the lease gear every 3 to 5 years will replace it. It's updated, modernised, and we also have a strategy of not over packing the gym. So there's space and movement. So you go to some gyms and it's just machine after machine and it's tight. We've tried to keep that space reasonably open and, diversified our classes a little bit, and classes are a bit different, with CrossFit and High Rocks and things like that. So our other classes that we attend, we try to target the people that would use it. So our elderly community get to use quite a bit. We have the stadium for them. They get the water classes and things like that, which seems to do really well. And at peak times, we can get up to 70 people in our aqua class in the summer.
Thank you.
Swim Waipa, this is an area that we've put a lot of focus on over the last 6 months, a bit longer than that. It's probably been our poorer performing. We've kind of opened up and plateaued and then kind of started to go down. So we did a big independent internal review, got an outside independent contractor, done a review. And since that review, we've looked at our systems and processes and things like that. So we've got new software that has opened up in the last term. And that new software enables the user to see the progress of their child, what their payments are due, where their bookings are, a bit like an app with the school. We never had that option. And it also saves them coming in on site to being able to pay and things like that. There was obviously initial teething problems, and some people still want to pay cash, and we can't. It's a third party. It's got nothing to do with the trust. But we're about to do a survey over the first 3 months to see how our customers like that and target them, see the pros and cons and see what we can do going forward.
Okay.
So hopefully the first couple of months of this year seemed to be a lot more positive going forward, but if any weaker area was an area that we could see room for improvement on. Health and safety. For the extra amount of people, our accidents have gone down, incidents have gone up a little bit. We dropped the contamination, so when you're getting 60,000 extra people, you would think that would go up. And obviously there's policies that have helped us, but also, we've been quite lucky, I guess. For water quality, so we've maintained above the 85% national standard quite highly, 95, 96%. We've actually internally raised that 85 to 90%, maintaining the water quality. If anyone comes to the pools, generally you can just about drink the water. Not that you want to, but you can drink the water. So pretty proud of the team maintaining that. It's pretty tough, 24 hours a day, 362 days of the year, and just things that happen all the time.
Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead, Marcus.
What does that mean, like between 85 and 95%? Like what is the actual material difference?
So there's a standard for each type of thing. So you'll have how much chlorine you should have in the pool, and you have the ranges you have to be in, the pH, and that just the whole water quality. So there's a national standard that says you must be within that. So we have testing and automatic dosing as well as manual testing to check where we are. So you've got to average above that 85% because you won't maintain, you might have a big group and the water, no matter how good your pumps and equipment are, the bather loads are too high for the water. So as long as you're maintaining above that average and it recovers pretty fast and you're giving water. So sometimes you'll come in and as you've had a big group, it doesn't look that real shiny, crystalline, clear water that you'd normally have. And that's just due to the plant working hard, filtering and clearing and disinfecting the water. And then it will recover, but it's still safe and things like that. And there's also other things like temperature, which aren't measured. And everybody has their own preference. So some people want a lane to themselves and they pour at this temperature and they forget that it's 1 million litres and we just can't change it for the time that you're in here. Yeah, they work hard on it. Feedback. Over time, the actual written feedback and the feedback that we're getting has dwindled since COVID times, which is a good thing. We'd still like to get the compliments up, but we do get a lot of compliments. However, if it's not written and sent to us, we don't aim that. So the feedback that we're showing now is actually written or submitted complaints or feedback and things like that. So once again, pretty even with last year. Some of the things we can't change, there might be a complaint that's non-valid and things like that. We just had one the other day as an example. Don't want people with phones and it's pretty hard to police with phones now these days and things like that. Someone's not using a towel in the sauna, sitting on it, things like that. So we work hard on it and we're trying to bring those down and we want to get the compliments up, but it's pretty good with the extra people through. Capital renewals, some of it won't mean much to most people. A lot of it's plant work. The big thing that might do for the public in our community is we upgraded, because the stadium's being used, we upgraded the kitchen significantly. We didn't go fully commercial because we're just not can't quite justify that, but we've improved it a lot. So when people do book it, it is a nicer experience. We've now got a pull-out island where they can do and prep food and things like that, and put a dishwasher in instead of hydraulic and things like that.
But just on that, Matt, so what is the difference between what kitchen facilities you've got on offer versus a commercial one? Or like you've mentioned the island and the dishwasher, but is there anything else that would be I suppose, I mean, I think we should be promoting that you have upgraded the kitchen and it's a more attractive proposition now, but it'd be good to understand what you can't, what level you're not catering for.
Yeah, so we did get Peter Stark from Montana to do a review a few years back, and his recommendation is, because we don't have the major events where you'd need a commercial kitchen, recommended to do a commercial that's kind of good. And then when the cafe come on board, the original owners, they could help do with the catering. They didn't have to use it, the people hiring, but that does help out and they can cater from that end. So there is another option there. And obviously with the new company starting yesterday, I'm pretty sure they'd be keen to do it.
Yeah, so it's an extra option for people. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thanks.
We also upgraded our CCTV both at the stadium and up at the gym. We didn't have any CCTV in those areas, and we upgraded some more cameras at Perry Aquatic Centre where we had some blind spots or high risk areas. So they were the two big key ones that we wanted to do besides capital plant work. So Brad obviously said that about our percentage going up next year, 13 events and up 65% of operational bookings. The average hours for the month went from 160 last year to 259, so almost 100 hours extra per month. And occupancy rate from 38% to roughly 61%. And pickleball, this is Shane's little project. He's very proud of it, and we are too. Gone from 1 day a week that we hosted it to 2, plus we've got a person that regularly hires carrying out pickleball. And we've gone from 4 courts to full stadium, which is 8 courts now, and people waiting to use it. So Shane's a champion, so if you want to come down and challenge him on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. I guess you give lessons. Yeah.
And just some photos of events. Thanks, Mike. I stole them off your Facebook page. So there's some of the voluntary firefighting night, which is technically this year. We had the national powerlifting champs in there. We had a boxing event. things like that. So these are things that we don't normally have, that we're trying to be, point of difference and have a good night and things like that, and affordable for these people to come in. I think the difference between us and, Claudelands and Mystery Creek is a significant difference, or even the Peak. I'm not too sure if the Peak gets many events, it'll be more sports, but pretty proud of that. Annual customer satisfaction survey. We still maintained a very good performance rating, but we dipped 2 points in, and that was probably, to be honest, our swim Waipa area that we're heavily focused on. Every other area of our service went up, but overall we went down by 2, but still maintained the very good. We had 783 responses over a 3-week period, so quite a good return. Not as good as last year. Last year still coming back from COVID, where people like to talk. So yeah, we're pretty proud of that. And our survey goes right down to the nitty gritty. So it's quite a big survey, and we actually ask them some hard questions that we probably don't want to know the answers from. And you can go out and ask people and do a high level survey and get great results, but you're not actually asking them what's happening. So these results are from some very detailed questions, and we even changed it for ones that we knew that were going to be bad, but we knew the feedback and we wanted to physically know what it was. Hence for a lot of investment into the swim Waipa and things like that. Financial report did pretty well. The trust did a turnover of 3.2 mil, and with funding from council, capital renewal. Year-to-date expenditure was 5.8, so we had a difference of 365,000, which we're pretty proud of. A lot of that will be going into, sorry.
A question from you.
I think you're going there. I was just going to say, what happens with those surpluses? And you were just going there, sorry.
Yeah. So as an example, we've pushed out the 50-metre pool at Cambridge a number of times. It needs a repaint. We actually were supposed to start it 2 weeks ago, but the weather hasn't been in our favour. That's over 100,000 just to paint the pool. And then a lot of the breakages that are happening are unforeseen, and we've had to replace air handling units and dosing pumps that are above and beyond our maintenance. So the trust is actually investing into hardware that is trying to keep the money that council, asking money from council to do that. And we're working with council, looking at different projects that the trust may or may not help invest in as well. Plus we want some new infrastructure and services for the community that may attract them to come to us and things like that, without coming back to council for money. So we're working behind the scenes, like the wellness centre. There's another little project that's probably my pet project for me if it ever comes to fruition. So yeah, we work hard trying to do that, and it gets reinvested back. We're not going to Fiji on board meetings or anything like that. I'm not driving an Audi. So it's getting reinvested in for our community, why the gym is maintained, why the stadium's maintained, why we do these upgrades and things like that.
Matt, can I ask you about the amazing increase in the trust trading and other revenue? Because I guess that's where you really made a big lift here. I just want to acknowledge the hard work that the trust has put in to achieve that, because when you look over those years, like from 2021 through, you've achieved a huge increase there. Yeah, but not simply just by putting up prices and admission fees. Yeah, things like that. But if you could just comment on, what you see is behind that increase.
Extra 60,000 people through does help. But we do try and not raise the prices every year. So what we'll do is, as an example, we'll do the trust's fees, so the gym, the swim school, 1 year, and then the entry price is probably the following year. We don't apologise that we may be at the higher end, because we think we give a great product. And you still see those people that are not charging the users, and it goes on to the ratepayer, and their facilities are nowhere near as good as what the Waipa region has. And I'm pretty proud of the Waipa region for our facilities, and I'm a Hamilton ratepayer. And, I think we've got fantastic facilities for our community and the wider region, to be honest. We outshine, and so we reinvest And I can't emphasize that enough, that we reinvest back into these centres. It's almost 25 years old. You come in there, you wouldn't see a place that's looking as good as that is for 25 years.
Can I just focus in on that admission fee thing? So you're not reviewing those fees this year, or is it, like you said, you alternate between the other trust services
Yes.
and the pool one? So
Yeah, so
when-
this year, sorry, Madam Chair. So this year it was the entry price and it went up 50 cents.
right, yeah,
Most
Cool.
people put up $1, $2,
yeah,
things like that. So we try and try and keep it down, and we try and get the users to pay more than the ratepayers that don't use it.
yeah.
But if you do the ratios, 460,000 plus people of a population of what, roughly 50, it's quite a good visit per head of population. And you'll see on the next slide where it gets into the detail, and you can see the difference in the changes.
Yeah, thanks. Now I've got a question from Mike Pettit.
Actually, I'm happy to come in at the end, so let Matt finish up.
Okay, thanks. And I'm not noticing too, we're sort of coming to the end of our time allocation as well. So yeah, over to you, Matt. Yeah.
So this is probably where we're the most proudest, where you can actually see it physically, and it's more tangible for everybody. You can see the percentage. So for the user, the trust has actually raised its profile to 56% of the overall costs, and council's dropped slightly to 43%. The users have gone up. The cover from per visit total is $12.53, and council's covering $5.46, and the trust is $7. So we've actually brought that down for the community from $14 per visit last year to $12.53. Obviously, the rated units have gone up slightly, so that does help as well. But the annual cost, so as an example, if you're a ratepayer that pays, say, and I'm just plucking this out of the air, $4,000 a year annually for your rates, only 227 of that is to have both facilities operating. And we've dropped that from $2.30, so we've dropped it by $3 per ratepayer. And so we think that's a very good outcome for that. And we've raised the equity from 109 per ratepayer, or 110 to 119 in the equity. So we're very proud of that. So
Yeah, that's a fantastic result, and I've just got to congratulate your team and the trustees. Yeah, thank you. Now, any other questions? Oh, Mike, yes.
Hey, thanks through the chair. Thanks for both those reports. And yeah, I guess one of the fundamentals is you offer a great product, people will come, and that's obviously what you folks are doing down there. Firstly, Shane, hey, just thanks, because the governance oversight to allow Matt to do what he's doing. You guys are obviously doing a good job, so it's good to see you guys working together. So I'll acknowledge a few things first. I've just got a couple of questions at the end, if that's okay. Look, the suggestions that people are offering, those 27 suggestions, it's good to see them coming in, and it's good to see you not afraid of those sort of things and putting that survey out there. I mean, the satisfaction at 78%, it was pretty plateaued all the way through the years. You guys are doing a great job. So, and it's good that you're putting it out there to get feedback to improve the site, which is clearly what you're actually doing. So the health and safety stuff was good. Most of those metrics were heading in the right direction, and it's pretty incredible when you look at an extra 60,000 people through the facilities. So you're actually punching way above your weight there. The pool quality you talked about, the annual income, yeah, so an extra $240,000 over the year, but also an extra $130,000 of under expenditure. And so, that's a total of $370,000. It's a big difference, and it's good to see that you're not scared to invest back into the plant and back into some maybe depreciated work that needs doing. So it's just a really good example all around, really, of how a trust can actually work so well. The kitchen upgrade you talked about, yeah, and it's really good. And the commercial thing, yeah, look, I think there's a massive difference between a commercial kitchen cost and just doing an upgrade. So I understand your rationale there. Yeah, that volunteer fire brigade thing, I mean, that's something that, yeah, I'd really encourage you, with so many people, and a lot of us went there, but so many people in that room of reaching out to, hit the ambos up, hit the police up. I mean, there's other areas we can get a lot of people, and it wasn't just the money that you guys would have made out of it. It's actually the community good stuff out of it, the community feel stuff, which is what you guys are really largely about. And the last thing I've got there in terms of this, and before the questions, is just a really good result, actually reducing the average cost to enter a pool, from $14 down to $12.50 odd. And that's really because of the extra people using it. So that's good news for the general ratepayer, who are always going to be subsidising things like this in libraries, etc. But you guys are on point to actually reduce that. A couple of questions. Pickleball, you've already answered it. So I'm a big fan of pickleball. So and there's so much potential in gaining extra revenue, but also getting people out and about and fit and just working together. So my questions were around the last one left then was around the contamination, and it's down from 85, I think it was, or 83 down to 70, which is fantastic. Why is that? Because extra numbers have been used, and also any other ideas you've got to mitigate it even further? Because I'm assuming every time it's down, it's the pool's sort of out of action for a number of hours.
Madam Chair, yes, we base the closure on an average of 3 hours. If it's, we've talked about it before, there's different types of protocol for different scenarios. And that's including those other scenarios where you might have to close it for half a day or a whole day overnight and things like that. It is a challenge. Sometimes there are accidents, sometimes it's out of your control where it might be some of those contaminations of blood, they've got cuts or something like that, or somebody's mum and dad's rushing because they're late for swimming lessons, they'll shove a sandwich down the kid's throat and then it'll regurgitate back up. And even though that's not, what would you say, an illness or bacterial, we treat that as, so that's still included in there, we scoop it up even though it's still pretty safe, then we just do the treatment and stuff like that. So different types of listeners, different types of groups, it's all that, those challenges.
Yeah, but from a council point of view, from a community point of view, you guys are absolutely doing a fantastic job of what a trust can do. So thank you all.
We have a lot of practice, so we might be getting better at it, like changing the tyres on a F1 car.
Thank you, Matt. And I totally endorse what Councillor Coles just said. Congratulations. But I did want to give an opportunity to you, Shane, as the chair of the Trust Board, if there's any comments that you'd like to make.
Well, I guess it's pleasing to see that our strategy is working. We can see the lift in numbers. We've been waiting for it to plateau, but we had a board meeting yesterday and the good news is it's continuing to rise. And so the focus from the trust point of view is we have some equity there that we're going to invest back, but we want to do it in a way where we're going to increase the numbers or get a return on our investment. So we're now working through that strategy. The CEO and his team are putting some suggestions together, but we'll be very focused on making sure that, one, we get a return on investment, two, we get the increase in numbers. And if we get that, we will keep investing those profits back into the organisation.
Thanks very much. It sounds like, a model that's, driven for success, which is really fantastic. And great news for the
I think the other thing to mention too, in our meeting yesterday, part of our strategy is to improve our communication to wider public. We've got a new someone on the board that can add a lot of value to that. And so that's going to be a big focus, and we think we'll get a lot of runs on the board by doing that.
Thank you. All right, I better wrap this up because I'm over time now. So we've got a resolution that the committee receives the report of Brad Ward on the 6-monthly update. All right, so Phil's going to move and Mike's going to second. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Yeah, thank you. Excellent. Keep up the great work. Okay, sorry for going over time. We'll need to keep our question time a bit shorter. Now we've got the Sport Waikato update, and I welcome the team. Matthew and Hayden, thank you. Always good to see you guys as well. A warm welcome to you. And Brad, you're going to introduce them for us. So over to you, thanks.
Kia ora koutou anō. Again, I introduce familiar faces to you, Matthew Cooper and Hayden Westerby from Sport Waikato. And as part of our service agreement with Sport Waikato, they present to you their latest update on their strategic focus and their work programs. So over to you, lads.
Thank you very much, Brad, Madam Chair, Your Worship, councillors and staff. Kia ora, Matthew Cooper, Toku Ingoa, and alongside me, Hayden Westerby, the RCC coordinator for Waipa. Firstly, I'll take the report as read, but I just want to cover a few highlights of our report. Firstly, from a regional perspective, Sport Waikato has now moved into Horizon 3 of Moving Waikato strategy. This phase really sharpens up our focus on equity, on innovation and well-being, ensuring that the more of our communities, especially those who are facing barriers, have access to play, active rec and sport. Importantly, this has been guided by robust data, over 8,300 adults and thousands of young children across the region took part in our surveys, giving us a real clear picture of needs and opportunities. Another positive for us at a regional level is that we had a very good audience with Future Proof Committee in early August, and more designed to ensure that sport and recreation infrastructure at a regional or a sub-regional level is factored into future-proof thinking, which was a real positive for us to get that tabled and also actioned by Future Proof as well. So just think from a point of view of Waipa, Hamilton City, Waikato District, and the challenge we have with future sport and recreation facilities of scale. That's a good angle for us to have that involvement with them as well. And that would bring in hopefully some central government focus around sport and recreation facilities. In Waipa specifically, more than $174,000 in Te Manawa funding has been invested over this reporting period in local schools and community groups, supporting initiatives from cycling education to lunchtime after school programs. Alongside this, 28 primary and intermediate schools have been engaged through healthy active learning clusters in Cambridge, Te Awamutu and across Lower Waipa. So that's strengthening both teacher practice and student outcomes around health and PE. We've also continued to focus on coach development, trialling a new coach connector model that links and supports volunteer coaches. We're involved in conversations and providing input with facility projects, including Karapiro Lake Domain, Cambridge Hockey Turf, and the Parongia Sports Complex. Finally, I'd like to note strength of collaboration when working closely with Waipa District Council and your community partners to share insights, align planning, and innovate, whether that's through our Positive Vibes Only initiative in schools and new pilots like virtual cycling leagues. So the innovation around virtual reality is something which I know we wouldn't have said that 10 years ago, 30 years ago, but the virtual esports opportunity is relevant with young children, that we need to sort of blend movement, how we blend movement into that as well. So to close, we'd like to thank Council for your ongoing partnership, specifically this Council over the last 3 years. I wish those seeking re-election every best wish, and for those not seeking re-election, sincerely thank you for your service. Together, we're ensuring that decisions are guided by community voice, that investment is strategic, and that opportunities for physical activity are inclusive, sustainable and future focused. Thank you, Council. I just would open it up for questions.
Thank you, Matthew. Any questions? Look, it's been an amazing report, actually. Oh, I've got Lou Brown there. Go for it, Lou.
Thanks, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Through the chair, I just wanted to ask about the crisis and civil defence, and you're approaching civil defence for play beyond a crisis. I'm actually the chair of the regional council there. So I'm just wondering, if it hadn't come up on the agenda, I'm just wondering whether it was something we had to actually work with.
Yeah, thank you. Kia ora, ko Hayden aho. Thank you very much. Yes, we presented only just last week actually. It's been on the list for a while, I'm afraid, but I was prompted really by a gentleman, Adam Gardner, down in Sport Canterbury. Canterbury had done in particular a lot of work around this on the back of earthquakes, terror attacks, Port Hill fires, etc. And really, I raised the question through one of our council partners around: has this been looked at in Waikato? What could that look like? So it's a new project in the Waikato, and I guess it would look different, but we no outcomes as yet on that.
but definitely well received. It was excellent.
Okay. So what I'm asking is that for funding, it has to come back to the joint committee for civil defence. Did you talk to Julian or Aaron or?
The group was chaired by Irving at the time.
Irving,
We haven't.
okay.
There's,
All right. Okay.
there is potential for Te Manawa funding that was looked at down in Canterbury. But we haven't got to there's no project on the table specifically at this point in time.
Thank you. But I could just open that up and have a look at it from a different angle. Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds like the connections are being made. Now I've got Susan and then Bruce and then Mike.
Through you, Madam Chair, Morena, gentlemen. Look, hey, thank you so much for your report. Just referencing, Matt, the Waikato Regional Sports Precinct Charitable Trust presentation to Future-Proof. It was, it was really well received, and I think the discussion that flowed from that, you'll be pretty aware, was very positive. But can I invite you perhaps to elaborate a little bit on some of the information? And feel free to say no, I don't have it at my fingertips. But as I recall, I just looked at my notes here. You'd indicated during that presentation that for every dollar spent in this area, you get $2.12 return to the taxpayer. And in that context, we were looking at it as being a broader understanding and contextual understanding of that investment. And I suppose you'd indicated to us that you'd had some really positive feedback from Wellington, notwithstanding the sort of the back to basics core services kind of push. And yeah, can I ask you to sort of elaborate a little bit more on that? There's clearly an understanding that what might on the face of it appear to be sort of extra nice to have kind of investment actually in the longer term can pan out much more favourably for our communities.
Yeah, thanks, Ms. Susan. Yeah, no, I think I may have introduced that number to council before, and it talks about it's the social return on investment. So you have lots to focus on, in terms of your mandate around infrastructure and in terms of core business of local government. What we're trying to push hard now is, and I suppose it's the previous presentation was really impressive when I heard around what that role of your facilities are in terms of Go Waipa and the importance of what that impact of your facilities are having on your local people and people who arrive in here to use your facilities. And that goes against that. We know that for $1 that this council will spend, and I think it's now, Mayor Susan, higher. I think it'll be higher than $2.12 in terms of the impact on that person's well-being, on what it will do in terms of health later down in the system because we've got them moving. And I think that's probably the investment we're saying there is a social return. It's very difficult when you look at a lot of numbers in your financials, but that's why we went to the Future-Proof. For example, that we want to try and engage the other ministries like education when we talk facilities and get them involved in central government when it comes to things like facilities, that we have got other ministries out at central government involved in sport and recreation, because we know that if we can get these things built, we can maintain them and optimise them. We're going to have a healthier place.
Yeah, thanks for that, Matthew, and thank you for your work.
Okay, all right. Now, I think was it Bruce and then Mike and then I've got Dale Marie. Please, if you just keep things short. So
okay, thank you, gentlemen. I'll be quick. With your sports field capacity refresh, how do you see that with the three councils? How do you see more kids or children playing sport and older adult teams, and we're all under pressure to provide fields? How do you see that heading?
Yeah, thank you. So that report's being started to be circulated with staff at the moment, but it's not just around, it's around quality of fields as well as quantity of fields. And then there's a lot of ancillary things like floodlighting needs to go alongside that. So there's a number of things that go into that in terms of just getting a network of the appropriate fields. So a network of soil-based fields, sand-capped, right the way through to artificial turf. And, we're not advocating that everything's artificial turf, but neither are we saying everything should be soil.
Okay, I think Brad wants to respond to that.
Yeah, if I could just elaborate on what Helen's just mentioned there, it also helps our funding become quite targeted, because we'll understand across our network, especially regionally, but also in Waipa, where our shortages are. So last time we did this exercise, it really identified we were really short in Cambridge on football fields. So we invested more into we put 2 new Sandcup fields in there. So that was, good use of data and strategic direction, I suppose, to make sure we get bang for buck.
Okay, cool. All right, Mike, to you.
Thanks to the chair. Firstly, an acknowledgement of what's happening over in that Cambridge cluster with regard to the professional development, and I guess and the difference in the model of last time of the guys and girls coming and delivering sort of PE to now actually working with based on data and working with the teachers for them to deliver it. So hey, the model, I can see it's working well. So yep, well done there. My next one is really, and this isn't just about, it says about a Cambridge hockey turf, but it's not really just Cambridge. I mean, there's no all-weather turfs that are public in the Waipa, so I've battled on about this for a long time. So this is not just a Cambridge thing. There's a need to me on both sides of the district here. But in here, it's about the turf really and the high school there being a really strong option. So my question is, I guess, how is WDC, this is to whoever, involved, and what support are we offering to actually progress this? Just sort of where we're at with this.
Get it through the chair. We are working with Sport Waikato, Shane Brodie, who's in the Spaces and Paces Department of Sport Waikato, and we've been meeting with the high school representatives, but also St Peters. Obviously, they've already got a turf there, looking at what the opportunities are. So Shane and I actually got another meeting with St Peters this week. After that, we've able to double back to the high school and just share some of those conversations. We don't have a golden ticket solution right now, but we are trying to progress things for them because we know that they are pretty, they're champion to go. So.
Yeah, right. No, that's good to hear, Brad. And I would agree. There's no financial golden ticket sitting around here, but it's just what we're doing to support that and what the community can get in behind whatever happens there. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry, if I could just elaborate, because we want to make sure we get this in the right spot, right? Because our turf, they're not things that you go and take away in the future. You want to make sure you get them in the right spot. So that's our key piece of work that we're doing at the moment, whether it be with the school on the Cambridge Town Belt or at the St Peters. We want to make sure we get that right location. And we're working with Sport Hockey in that regard as well, because we also bring in people from Matamata and Otahonga playing that code as well.
Yeah, and Matthew wants to make a comment.
Just really quickly, Councillor, I think we've got some examples that are happening in Hamilton, and that's probably more the hybrid football rugby. And I know we're talking about the hockey example, but sand carpet's being big, but we are getting some really good feedback now on what the benefits of an artificial could be, and so we've now got some good resource. We're doing really well in terms of whether it's an engagement with council, whether it's engagement with education, but where Sport Waikato's now got some really good partnerships now with funders that make these things happen. So, we are talking around about an initial capital outlay of, say, I don't know, about a couple of million or just over. But once you've got them down, the use has just dramatically changed. Thanks
for that, Matt. Thanks for adding to that.
All right, now, Dale Marie.
I'm just going to be quick. I want to drop the seed. Mine is nothing about all of this stuff or politicking while I'm at the table. Matatini 2027, we need to look at how we can tap in with you guys to make a regional passport because I picked up on what you said around people arriving here to use our services.
Yes. Yeah.
And with Matatini coming in February 2027, I think this is a great opportunity for us to look at a passport of services, particularly gyms, Tiaha Rānei, all those possibilities that we can look at to provide for those. It is 1 week, but when Taranaki got 27 million over 4 days, I'm keen to tap into a bit of that for Waipa. So let's catch up again sometime. Tēnā kōrua.
All right, and that's prompted a question from Hinarangi.
Kia ora tātou. So just on that, I just want to reiterate a point I made. I think the last time we hear that kapahaka as a sport, and it's a good way to get Māori in particular moving. So just want to reiterate that as a potential deliverable for meeting some of those things that you want to achieve. So absolutely kapahaka. I want to acknowledge the funding support for the Kiwanganui Games. Both mine and Dale's whānau are involved in that event. So tēnā rawatu koe. And just another point as well around, I see you've done quite a lot of work to capture the voice of the tamariki and capture the voice of the coats. Are you also working towards capturing the voice of Māori?
Absolutely.
Ka pai.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So it's obviously, you'll see that coming through there as well. And I think the voice of Māori is really, particularly tamariki and rangatahi, absolutely.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to draw a close there because I'm conscious of the time. But
Okay.
thanks for the questions though, and really appreciate your presentation and the amazing work that you're doing. Keep it up. Thank you. So with that, I've got a recommendation. What page is this? I think it's page 63. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, just that we received the report from Brad Ward. So I've got Lou Brown and Marcus going to move in second. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, the next item is road closure Targa, and I see James and Harry there. Brian? Oh, Brian there. Welcome, Brian. Really appreciate you coming and presenting to our committee today. So this is on page 79 of our agenda. Over to you, Brian.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Order, please. Need to have quiet for Brian.
Get this up in front of me here. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So we'll just take the report as read. This is a regular event that happens in our district virtually every year. In two locations, in the north around Te Miro and in the south around Pukeatua. Both of these, are parts of a rally stage and that they extend into Matamata district to the north, and they extend into Otorohanga district in the south on their roads as well. We do, from time to time, receive objections to road closures. So this is one where we have an objection on both stages from farming properties, two farming properties. So while they are concerned about disruption to their access to the property, being able to pick up children from school, activities like that, the organisers do make arrangements so people can call the number, they get the letter delivered to their property, they can call the number and book in an access time, and then they're able to be escorted through the road closure. So that is the mechanism by which the organisers deal with these types of issues. While Council's sort of policy and vision is to have events and to encourage events in the district to make it a vibrant, interesting place to live, it does have this disruption impact from time to time. And that's something we have to weigh up. And when staff receive event applications, we're always on the lookout. Is the disruption to residents going to be unreasonable? And of course, if we feel it is, then we do our best to encourage them to change their event, whether it's the date or the time, or to find ways to minimise that disruption. Because ultimately, we only want to bring events to the council table that there's been some really good consideration up front of the likelihood of disruption and objections. And I guess that's why the majority of the reports that come to council do not have any objections, because that early work is done to prevent it. But happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions? Oh, yes, Monty.
Look, it's not a question, it's a comment. Being a rural representative, I just wanted to say that these are quite major disruptions. And were it not for your point around the fact that you can get escorted access through, I'd be pretty unhappy about them. But I take your point and I accept it. I think it is a reasonable compromise. But these aren't like having your road closed in town where you've still got walking access. When this is shut, you're shut. You can't leave. It's quite hard to deal with kind of not emergencies, but business emergencies, when you need to deal with something. So, I'll be monitoring this, and if a whole lot more objections start showing up, I think we would need to be taking it seriously. And I would hope that the mitigation, being the ability to book our time slot through, actually works in real life for people, because, you know, these are business days and they are quite disruptive.
Thanks, Monty. And now, Liz.
Thank you. I was just going to ask about the number of competitors and the number of spectators that are associated with the Targa Rally. It's not in the report, and I thought that was sort of, are we talking 20 people? Are we talking 2,000 people? I've never watched this sport before, so I don't know.
I'm in the same boat as you, actually. I haven't watched the sport, but I think it's much more than 20 who turn up to watch these things. But I mean, there may be other councillors around the room who have observed, could provide an answer.
Can you answer that question? Otherwise, I've got Lou first.
My observation is from over the years, and being in a rural area, it's more the locals just watching it.
Okay, all right, thanks. Now I've got a question from Lou.
Not so much a question, just simply to state that they actually utilise local schools as venues or local identities and put money into those schools. So they have their pits there. So the schools can raise money. And I just use the Waripapa School as one example where they did put a significant amount of effort. They had their people changing tyres and doing things there. And they had a barbecue, the school had a barbecue. And it's, I do agree with one thing, that they used to be biannually, it is now annually. But the biggest thing is, if we send this away or stop this, we'd lose the whole of that infrastructure permanently, because we've only retained a small proportion of what used to be the Targa Rally. It's not anywhere near the size it used to be.
Okay, thanks for those comments. Okay, so no more questions. So Brian, I think the message, oh, sorry, Hinerangi.
I've read some of the potential community benefits. Is there anything else? Is there any other return on that investment of closing roads and annoying our community?
Yes, not that I can think of, no.
Right, they don't make a financial contribution of some sort?
Not that I'm aware of.
Huh. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I'd just like to draw this to a close. And Brian, we just want to send that message through to the organisers about making sure that if people are impacted, there is a good, effective process so they can book, an access time and things like that to hopefully help manage those, restrictions. So with that, I've got recommendations, what page, I'm not sure if that's on page 59, but about the detailed road closures. Would someone like to move that they be, page 80. Yeah, there you go, page 80. All right. I'm happy to move from the chair, and Dale Marie will second. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're against. Okay, sorry. I should have said that. Yes. Would you like your name recorded?
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Brian. And now our next item is the request for new road names. Harry and James, welcome. Over to you, gentlemen.
Madam Chair, I take the report as being read. We've got 5 new road names. Is there any questions?
All right. Looks like people are comfortable with that. So in the interest of time, I'll see whether or not there's anyone that would like to move the recommendation. Thank you, Philip. And a seconder, Mike. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. The next item is the submission on the New Zealand Transport Agency's State Highway 21, Airport Road and Rains Road intersection speed limit. And Brian's back. Thank you, Brian. Over to you for this submission.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is relatively straightforward in my perspective. So we take the report as read and happy to answer any questions that councillors have about the proposal.
Thank you. Any questions? I am pleased to see that this has been considered because this is part of my ward and I get a lot of complaints about safety and concerns with that. It's good to see that there's likely to be a reduction in the speed. So I've got Bruce and then Liz.
Brian, I compliment you on the report. I think they're coming off Rains Road out into hitting the state highway there, they just whiz around there. So if anything can be done, that's fantastic.
Cool. And Liz?
Echo both the sentiments, happy to move.
Okay, so Liz is going to move. Bruce, do you like a second? All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you, Brian. All right, and now we've got the district-wide fire flow and level of service upgrades. Nice to see you here today, Robin. Thank you. Over to you for your report.
Morena, everybody. This is a contract increase report for the new water main that we're putting through Tiamutu at the moment. It's the one that goes all the way from Taylor's Hill, Green Hill Drive, down the state highway and is coming into town as well, and is primarily for ensuring we can meet levels of service and fire flow at hydrants by making sure we've got enough pressure and flow in the pipes. And I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Now I've got a question from Dale Marie. Oh, no, you're just going to move it. Okay. Any questions? Lou?
Yeah, no, there is an increase. They had some problems with the construction, as I read. They've got beyond that now. They hit another pipe, I see, and a few other things. So, yeah, I'm just wondering, have they got beyond this and this is the final adjustment, Robin?
Through the chair, I'm certainly hoping this is the final adjustment. It's just been one of those construction contracts.
I just want to agree with you. The one thing is it's critical under the Act that we do have the pressure with all our fire hydrants at 100 PSI. So, yeah, it's critical.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple of things in here that I guess sort of concern me a little bit, just in terms of it's another $1 million, but some of the stuff I can see is sort of clearly being out of our control, right? Like until you get into it or under it. But is there stuff in here that could have been avoidable if either the contractor or we'd done a bit more homework in terms of routes or paths or that sort of thing?
Through the chair, there are elements of this extra contract value that we could have planned better. There's absolutely no doubt about it, particularly around the interfaces at the reservoirs, because the contract was for the renewal of the pipe from the reservoirs. And once we got into the detail of it, there was changes to some of the configuration around the reservoirs which were needed. So we could have planned that element better, and some of the cost is associated with that additional works around the reservoirs.
Right, thanks for that reply. I guess the other thing then is moving forward is I guess the learnings have been taken in terms of other type of contracts.
Through the chair, absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. All right. No, thank you for that.
Okay, so now I've got Susan.
Yeah, just further to Councillor Pettit's question, are you able to substantiate or quantify how much of the extension could have been on a dollar value avoided with better planning?
Through the chair, I've tried to do a breakdown of the various contract variations. There's notionally $300,000, which is extra scope, and that is a mixture of the reservoir works I've already alluded to, plus also some strengthening work on the pedestrian bridge on the state highway, where we've hung the pipe off it, and we had to do some strengthening of the bridge just to make sure that was structurally suitable for it. So primarily those two elements are associated with about $300,000 worth.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay, thank you. And then Marcus?
So now that we have a new stormwater pipe that we didn't know about, how does it affect our valuations and stuff with stormwater? And is there a roll-on effect for other things now, like undiscovered assets and things?
Through the chair, it wasn't a stormwater pipe we didn't know about. It was just in a location and depth that we didn't expect it to be. So no, unfortunately, we've not discovered an asset, but we now know exactly where it is.
Thank you. Now, I just want to follow up on your statement that there's been learnings from the way the project's been planned. And it's all very well for the people that are involved to take those learnings on and apply them in the future. But how are we going to have confidence that this is going to be sort of part of the way that Waipa operates, you know, sort of how are you going to retain that learning so that it's more accessible for anyone that comes into the organisation in the future?
Through the chair, that's a really difficult question to answer. As part of the project delivery team, where there is now actually a weekly, bi-weekly, all the project managers get together and we actually share learnings, and that is the mechanism to make this sort of thing known across a broader group of people. So it's not just contained within a single project delivery team.
Cool, thank you. Now, Monty, and then is that Mike? Yeah.
Oh, Robin, just clarifying the budget implications of this. To make this work, I mean, you say you're not asking for any extra money, but you are taking it from other budgets. Am I reading this right? The TA CBD Rising Main. So what are the implications of that? Have we got any problems as a result of that?
Through the chair. The way I've achieved enough money to cover this is as part of the carry forward process from last year across the various water main renewal contracts. There was amounts of money we hadn't spent, so I've got them transferred onto this project for this financial year. So there is no effect on this year's scope. It was reusing spare, and I hate to call it spare money, from last financial year.
So just to be clear, the level of service for firefighting and the rising main, I mean, they're one and the same. We're talking the same pipes, aren't we?
We're talking exactly the same pipe. It's about achieving flow and pressure for people's taps as well as the hydrants in the street. So putting the big pipe in achieves both purposes.
Okay, all right. And now Mike?
All right. Yeah, through the chair, I had a very similar question. It was, what is the opportunity cost of the additional $1 million on other projects? So just confirming there's nothing that is going to be short change going forward that we've got planned.
Confirming that there's nothing been taken out or reallocated from this year's scope of works.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. All right, so with that, I think that's all our questions. So I've got a resolution on page 111 about Robin's report and approving the increase to contract. I'm happy to move from the chair. Is there a seconder? Yes. Oh, thank you, Philip. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. All right, so now we've got a resolution to exclude the public. All right, so Dale Marie's going to move.